And we're live. Okay.
Yes.
Well, yesterday a lot was going on in the markets. I mean, New York Stock Exchange had a glitch, and because of this, prices were all over the place. But that's not the only thing that moved the markets. We also had the ISM Manufacturing Index. This morning we had the Joel's Jobs Report, and markets are reacting, or are they? Well, we'll talk about this. And with that said, welcome to Coffee with Marcus and Mark. Please, live from Barcelona in the afternoon at 5 o'clock for us. So it is happy hour. Anyhow, today is Tuesday, June 4th, and the Tuesday feels like Wednesday. But there's a lot to talk about. We'll show you what's happening in the markets and also how we are trading these crazy markets. And with that said, let's hop over to our magic app. We need to scooch a little bit closer.
Scooch.
There.
All right.
I think we're fine.
All right. All right.
Now everybody can see us. Okay, so let's talk about the Dow. One thing, Mark, that I didn't even notice, look at this. The Dow is trading below its 50-day moving average.
True. Look at that. And it looks like maybe, just maybe, there's a little resistance right below that, at least short term. So interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, however, if you look at the other indices at the S&P 500, found some support at the 50-day moving average. Same with the Nasdaq, so they're still trading above it. It's just the Dow that is anyhow a little bit lagging this
Yeah.
year, and that's mainly because we have the chip craziness. I mean, Nvidia announced more chips, and they were up yesterday.
AMD announced another AI chip,
Yes.
and then and not really affecting it too much, but Intel followed suit. Everybody's trying to get their announcements in.
Yeah, but also Intel. I mean, look at this, really lagging. You see Nvidia taking off
Yep.
and Intel. So when does Intel get kicked out of the Dow and Nvidia is being
Soon.
right? I mean,
Soon.
probably after the stock split. Probably after the stock split. So, looking at what's happening in the markets, let's take a look at the economic calendar. So, yesterday, the ISM Manufacturing Index coming in slightly lower than expected at 48.7, kind of indicating the economy could be slowing down. Markets were kind of unimpressed with this. And then today, the Joel's jobs opening also lower. So, are we in trouble?
Well, the lower JOLTS job openings actually would be a positive for the Fed, and the Fed does want to see that the job market slows down a little bit or weakens a little bit. So there was a little pop on that news, tiny, tiny reaction, but then it seemed like traders just kind of shrugged it off.
Yeah, so the big one this week is still the jobs report on Friday.
Yep.
This will be the monthly jobs report for May, and that's what we want to see because last month we're a little bit surprised that the jobs market was softening, and this is the one thing that Powell said could lead them to lowering interest rates.
Exactly. And so you have the debate on whether or not the Fed's going to cut 2 times or 3 times or no times. Goldman Sachs CEO doesn't expect to cut this year, which is interesting because right now we know that Fed fund futures point to 2 cuts taking place. Actually, maybe 3. No,
Maybe,
2.
no, two.
Sorry, sorry.
Too, right? And this is where, I mean, everybody already said goodbye to any cuts in the June meeting, pretty
Yep.
much also in the July meeting, unless on Friday we see a weakening in the jobs market. Then all of this could change.
It could. It could. So big report Friday. Traders waiting on. Yeah, I saw. Speaking of May, I saw an interesting stat that May, the S&P had its best month in May in 15 years. And for the remainder of the year, on average, the S&P is higher by 10.5% versus the average of 4.9%. So it's such a strong May, it tends to move higher for the rest of the year.
Well, if the rally continues, because we talked about it yesterday, right? I mean, we had a strong rally the first half of the month, and then it kind of fizzled out. So you
It
really expect
did.
the market to go up another 10%? I mean, it wouldn't be out of the norm. So far for the year, we're up 11% in the S&P 500. So going up another 10% would be at 21%. That's not too unusual in a bull market.
Not in a bull market, and, I mean, definitely needs to move a little bit more, but I also saw a stat that after you have a 5% retracement, I think it was on average, I'm missing my scroll. Oh, after it drops, 5% on average, it rallies 17.4%.
I thought these were your notes from yesterday.
Yeah, one day doesn't matter sometimes. And you said that it feels like Wednesday even though it's Tuesday, so I think we're okay.
All right. Okay. So, we have to talk about this glitch from the New
Oh
York
my
Stock
gosh.
Exchange, right? I mean, this were yesterday, 40 stocks were affected. The most notable one, Berkshire Hathaway, was down 99%, and
Yep.
it was a glitch.
Sure. It also impacted Chipotle, uh, Bank of Montreal, and Barrick Gold. But for those of you trying to pick up shares of Berkshire Hathaway at 197 or whatever it was, we're sorry, but all of those trades getting busted.
So far, the quotes haven't been corrected just yet, because if you look at a 5-minute chart here of yesterday, we still see that when it happened, it seems that a lot of trades were placed where people thought, oh my gosh, at 185, that's a steal. Before they go back up to 616,000, let's do this. And this were, even today, we see a little bit of confusion, down 2.3%. That's quite a lot for Berkshire Hathaway. It is probably still caused by the confusion. What is the real price right now? And what's happening to all of the orders from yesterday? Because they will be busted.
Oh, sure. And it sounds like it was tied to a software update, and so they had to revert back to the previous version there. But that spike there is the exact opposite. So either way, that bar doesn't make sense.
And then we also have GME.
Yep.
This saga just continues. Today, at some point, GME was down 8% right now, going back. And the question is, okay, what exactly is Roaring Kitty doing, right? And this is where yesterday, supposedly, another account statement showing that Roaring Kitty still has a substantial position here
Okay.
of 5
Look at
million
that.
shares.
So 5 million shares and 120,000 June 21 20 calls that are expiring. And I mean, just huge positions there. We see that on those calls paid 567, 568 a call. There was someone that commented yesterday saying that those calls could be sold at any time. And that is true. So when you were mentioning the break even point that GME needs to be above 25.68 at expiration, that is true,
Yeah.
but he can get rid of those at any time.
Yeah. The other question is about the price paid here. So is this a position that he still held from back in the days, or is this a new position? Because it says price paid 21.74. So is this something, if you look at a daily chart, that he entered recently, or is this the average price that he still held from 2021?
And that's where initially I thought it was a new position of 5 million shares, and I mean, the way that you see it, it says price paid, but that could be an average. It could be. So who knows?
Anyhow, his average cost basis is 21.70 something
And
that
even
we
that
had here.
seems a little bit on the high side
It does seem on the high side, because if we
for
go
him.
back, yeah, if you go back to 2021 and see what happened there, right? I do believe that he did buy a lot at around $3.50, and then bought some more around $5, and then maybe at around $10. But yeah, buying at 21 seems fairly high.
Whether it's an average now or a new position seems a little bit on the high side. But either way, making some money right now, although that pop seems to have fizzled. And now we'll see where GME ends up.
Yeah. And honestly, this is the most interesting thing to talk about, because if you look at the overall market, if you look at a 5-minute chart of the S&P, this is what happened today. So we basically opened slightly lower compared to yesterday's closing price, filled the gap, moved lower, moved higher, moved a little bit lower. Right now, we're down 15 points on a 5,000 point index. That's 0.3%. That's kind of nothing. So markets are diddling along, probably waiting for the jobs report.
Sure. An official diddle day. We do have a minor jobs report tomorrow, but Friday's always going to be the biggie.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting because today the stock market is down, and also interest rates are down. The yield is down,
Sure. Look at that. Yields pulling back from those highs. So 4-day slide for yields.
and crude oil is also down. Some more.
Yes.
I mean, Massive slide in crude oil after yesterday's slide. I think yesterday we were down 3.6% to now today another 1.6%, making it a more than 5% slide in just a couple of days. That's significant for crude oil.
Sure, 5-day losing streak there. Might be seeing some support. We'll see how far it goes, if it sees a little more support at 70 or if this is a temporary bottom. One thing for sure is it opened the door to some oil and gas plays for anybody interested in trading the wheel.
Yeah, so let's talk about our positions that we have in the wheel. And let's talk about the oil and gas plays first. So I entered Schlumberger, Schlumberger, SLB,
Schlumberger.
SLB, Schlumberger. And I yesterday sold the 43 put. Right now, it
You
seems
sure
that
about
this
that?
put. No, the 44.
Yeah.
The 44. So right now, it looks like it is in the money, and I might get assigned. And honestly, I would be happy to get assigned and then sell some calls against the
Okay.
position. But today, down another 2% here. And
Yeah.
right now, in the money, it's only Tuesday, so too early to talk about assignment, but we'll definitely keep an eye on this for the remainder of the week.
Of course.
And then for you, Halliburton.
Yeah.
Much easier to pronounce. I should have taken Halliburton, and you should have taken the SLB trade. Anyhow, looking at this one, let's talk about this trade.
Sure. So I sold the 34.50, so it's about 50 cents in the money right now. Again, a lot of trading between now and Friday, but I'm happy to own shares at 34.50. That 33 puts available right now. I think that's a good level. But at 34.50, like you, I was interested in getting assigned. And with where it was trading yesterday, I felt comfortable with getting some premium there at that 34.50 level.
Yeah, and looking at the heat map today, we see that the whole energy sector is down again. XOM, it's another possibility. CVX, I mean, it's kind of like take your pick. Even Oxy gets to a level where it becomes more interesting trading
Sure.
Oxy. We would be interested in the 58 strike, but the 59 is already available. So if Oxy falls a little bit more, the 58 might become available.
Yeah, and I saw in our mastermind call, we had a mastermind member sell the 58 yesterday. But at 59, I would prefer to be 58 or lower.
Yeah. Looking at a few others here. So we have CSIQ today down 2.6% after this massive rally up. I'm not surprised that we see a little bit of a pullback here. UPS going down with the overall market today, 0.7%. That's kind of what's happening. So nothing to do here. And then I tried to trade this morning CMA, Comerica. Oh, this might actually, I might be filled now. Because this morning, when I tried to sell the 47, I got only a partial fill. I was only filled at 10% of my position size. And right now, I might have gotten this fill. So trying to sell the 47 strike price here, this, for me, is showing some solid support levels here. And I would be happy owning Comerica.
Yeah.
All right.
I pass.
You pass. Let's hop over to the WTF, and we have an open trade, Amazon. So today, down 0.2%. So pretty much where we entered yesterday. So
Yep.
around break even here, nothing happening there. We did exit Merck. So Merck we exited this morning
Yeah.
at 127. I think it was at 127.11 or 15, somewhere around this. And we entered at 126.14. So nice, profitable trade here.
Sure.
All right. And then we also took DXCM. This was an open below entry. And right now up 0.6%. And we also trade PepsiCo up 1% today against the market.
Nice move in Pepsi. So sitting on a small profit there. And there was a new entry, but we decided to pass on that one.
Yeah, the new entry, very interesting. GEHC, GE Healthcare, that's a spin-off from General Electric. And if we zoom out a little bit, we see that we only have data until 2023. So not our usual 5 years, because it was a spin-off. And because of that, we decided to pass. Because if you look at the trades that we have available as a history, here, without a filter, it would have been only 6 trades. With a filter, only 3 trades. And this is not enough.
Yeah, normally you're getting maybe 20 trades to analyze, 20 to 30. So definitely weak on the data side.
Yeah. All right, before we go back and see what is happening in the markets, it is time for a dad joke. Or do you have a trader joke? What do you have today?
I wish I had a trader joke, but I have a dad joke. And I have to say I'm disappointed with everybody.
Why?
Because yesterday I was the clear winner and nobody commented. So all of you that kept your mouth shut didn't say I was the winner.
Your
This
little
guy,
pony.
he's walking around, dancing around in his cowboy boots, thinking that he won.
I did.
All
right, go for it.
All right.
Redeem yourself.
So we actually spent some time in Iceland, and we went to this cool restaurant. It was this Viking themed restaurant. So, do you know how Vikings communicated?
No.
With Norse code.
All right. Okay, here's mine. So Debbie tells me that I have two major faults. Number one, I don't listen. Number two, I don't know, something else.
Okay, you probably won this time. I'll give it to you.
Okay, all right. We'll see. Okay, let's see what else is happening. If anything moved here in the last few minutes while we're talking about this, and absolutely nothing is happening. We're still down 0.3%. So looking at a daily chart, what do you expect for the remainder of the week? I mean, right now for the week, we are slightly down 0.2% in the S&P and the Nasdaq. We are up 0.2% in the Dow. We're down 0.3%. It's just a diddling week right now.
Yeah, we're just looking to find some direction, some reason to move. Right now, there isn't one. So do we have to wait until Friday to get a move? Maybe. Who knows? Maybe there's some reading into what tomorrow's report shows.
Yep.
If there's a big surprise there, that could move the market. But right now, just kind of flat and slightly lower would be my guess.
It seems, although, that traders are expecting some volatility today. The VIX, the volatility index, up 5%, even though the markets are kind of unchanged. So showing that there might be a move ahead of us.
Yep.
Which would be great either way.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, with that said, we hope that you enjoyed our little show here live from Barcelona, where we're spending this week and next week with our mastermind members. And if you did, give us a like. We really appreciate it. If you feel that this was information worth sharing, even if it is just for the dad jokes, please press the share button. It's right underneath. And if this is your first time here, welcome. And there's a subscribe button right underneath. Press this, and this way you'll be informed when we go live again, which will be, again, tomorrow, same time, same place.
And it will be Wednesday.
And it will be Wednesday. Until then, have a great rest of your day.
Happy trading, everybody.